32 teams, 32 days. Today, the Chicago Bears. Welcome to a series where we deep dive on every NFL team's offseason from the very beginning when coaches are being hired, all the way to present day with preseason happening. Here's a list of videos that we're going to be dropping for 32 straight days from August 1st to September 1st. If you see a team that you're a fan of and the video is coming up, I encourage you guys to hit that subscribe button so you can stay notified when we drop that video on that respective date. Today, we're going to be talking about the Chicago Bears, but I couldn't do it alone. Not one, but two special guests, Samuel Allen and Seth Allen.
Thank you for having us.
Give us a brief description of how you became a Bears fan.
We grew up in the outside of Chicago, so just going back to it, I've had family that's been with the team and keeping up. So, and unfortunately, we moved away from the area, but we still kept ties with the team and have been through thick and thin. So, once you're a Bears fan, you can't go back.
So we're going to be talking about everything with the Bears that's happened this offseason, starting from the very beginning, the coaching staff. There's a new man in town after Matt Eberflus did not work out in Chicago, and that is head coach Ben Johnson, who comes in from the Detroit Lions. He is well respected, highly sought out after for the last couple of years just because of his innovative style. The trick plays that he's made up even against the Bears. We all know about the fumble, or the stumble at least, by Jared Goff and then Sam Laporta touchdown. Now it's on the opposite side. Hopefully Caleb Williams can do some of that magic with Ben Johnson. His offensive coordinator that brings in is Declan Doyle. Not a lot of experience. His first time offensive coordinator, as he was a tight ends coach with Denver from 2023 to 2024. And then the DC will be Dennis Allen, after he was a head coach with the Saints since 2015, but he was a head coach since 2022. Looking at this hire, let's start with you, Seth. You like it? You hate it?
I love it. I mean, we need an offensive-minded guy. The Bears always have a pretty strong defense for the most part, and our offense is always subpar.
We've always been very wishy-washy with who we're going to hire, and every time we get that ESPN notification that somebody's getting hired, we're like, do we really know a lot about this guy? But playing him twice in the division and getting to see him actually put an absolute masterclass on against other teams, and for the 3 years he was with the Lions, it was amazing to watch. So he has what we need. Can he just bring it to the Bears? That's what we really hope.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely have seen the innovative plays like we mentioned, and the offense, there's no doubt about it. This is going to be one of the more high-scoring offenses we predict in the NFL as Caleb Williams continues his ascent into his sophomore season. He brings in a new kind of philosophy with the players that he wants to bring in onto that offense. So if we look ahead to the free agency and trades, adds, and losses that are on the Chicago Bears, what an offseason for the Bears on that offensive line. The trades that they made, but also the addition of Drew Dalman that they signed in free agency. I believe, Samuel, we were together when that happened because I'm a Falcons fan, and I was like, I want Drew Dalman, but it's not going to happen. And there have been rumors about him being linked to the Bears, and then he got signed, and Joe Thuney as well, and Jonah Johnson.
I really like what they did. They completely revamped the entire interior O-line. I like Braxton Jones at left, but this new rookie that we got could possibly replace him, and then obviously our stud Darnell Wright. But bringing in that whole middle O-line, if you watched a lot of the run plays from the Bears, we were getting a lot of inside pressure. The tackles did their jobs for the most part, but that inside pressure from the center, we swapped at centers. Coleman Sheldon on the losses, he played at center, and then we had a lot of rotation. But the guards were huge, a huge pickup, and Joe Thuney and Jonah Johnson.
I love all of the moves we made. Coleman Shelton was very inconsistent throughout the whole season, and I'm glad we got a stud center, top 5 center. Joe Thuney, love that. I mean, phenomenal guard. We needed to beef up the inner offensive line, and that's exactly what we did.
Moving forward to the defense as well, they added some key starters as well. We know about Odengbo coming from the Indianapolis Colts. He's now with the Chicago Bears. He's going to be expected to start on the edge. Grady Jarrett and that interior as well, coming again from a Falcons fan. Very disappointing, but we thank you for his service, and now he's going to be moving on with the Chicago Bears. Looking at the losses, though, is there anyone that you're like, dang, we shouldn't have gotten rid of this guy. I wish we kept this guy. I mean, I know that you mentioned Coleman Shelton, but you're excited about moving on from him. Is there anyone that you're like, man, I wish we could make a deal with this guy?
Tevin Jenkins dealt with a lot of injuries, but I do believe he would have been a very, very good guard if he stayed healthy.
when he got drafted in the second round from, I think it was Oklahoma State, there was so much high hope for him, and it just really stinks that he didn't work out with us, and he battled through a lot of injuries, and he could have been a really good rotational piece, and we wouldn't have had to went and spend money on another guard.
We'll see what he can do with the Cleveland Browns. But moving on to the draft picks, we thought the free agency was already great, but then in comes the draft picks as they continue to do more damage. And actually, in the first 4 rounds, the first 2 rounds, they had 4 picks. 3 of those 4 picks were all offensive players. So Ben Johnson, an offensive-minded coach, knows what he's doing, bringing in guys like Colston Loveland, Luther Burden, Ozzie Trapilo that you talked about could be potentially a starting tackle one day.
Ben Johnson's been huge on 12 personnel, going back and watching his film. So bringing in 2 tight ends, we already got Cole Kmet, he's been an absolute stud for us. Very reliable guy. Bringing in somebody right behind him who's a little bit quicker, a little more agile, and you can run 2 tight end sets all day with them. And then bringing in Luther Burden at wide receiver 3, that is an absolute stacked wide receiver core. And then Ozzie Trapilo, I think if he continues from what we've seen in training camp, he could merge into a tackle that could potentially start on the left side. And then Shamir Turner down in Texas A&M, he played really well.
I'm glad you mentioned something about 12 personnel, because I think everybody was ready to write off Cole Kmet when Colston Loveland came in. Like, oh, this is his Sam Laporta. But it's more so, yeah, he could be the starter, could be that Sam Laporta guy, but they like to work in a second tight end, as we've been seeing Kmet working with the first-team offense in training camp. But yeah, moving down the line, I mean, unless you guys have any more insight on the draft picks, really wanted to hone in on one guy, the 7th-round pick, last draft pick, Kyle Monangai, making waves in training camp, and he could be working in maybe as the RB2 over Roschon Johnson.
I love him. I've seen so many clips of him, from him getting yelled at to him doing phenomenal. And I am really excited to see him play. And I do believe it is possible for him to be the RB2.
We don't know necessarily if 100% DeAndre Swift is going to be the RB1 if you look at it in the sense of, oh, is this guy going to get 230 plus carries a year, or are they going to really have a 3-man running back backfield? But we'll look forward to the projected starters now on offense, starting with the quarterback, then bridging out to skill position, then the offensive line, Caleb Williams. No questions about that. Case Keenum comes in. And then running back, we talked about that. DeAndre Swift right now is listed as the RB1. Roschon Johnson, running back 2, just because he has the veteran status. And then Monangai as the RB3. But when we get to projected stats, we'll talk a little bit about what that RB split could look like. Do you guys, I think this is a question that a lot of people are wondering. Do you guys feel like this running back backfield will be similar to what Ben Johnson did with Jahmyr Gibbs or David Montgomery, or do you think it's just going to be completely different?
I think it's going to be a little different. Because, I mean, going from Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, obviously losing David Montgomery was really hard to see. He's a really good player, and it just didn't work out with us. But they're a little bit more agile backs, and I would say Swift is a little bit more agile, but Roschon and Kyle Monangai are both a little more north-south runners. It might be a little different. We might see a totally different run scheme from him. I think he has the personnel that he can do whatever he wants and write up any play that he wants and be successful. So,
well, who knows what's going to happen with this running back room. We'll find out in about a month when the season starts. But then moving on to the receivers, the skill position players, DJ Moore, no question about it, going to be the wide receiver 1. Roman Dunze, he's making a lot of waves in training camp as well. Ben Johnson's really excited about him in that X spot. Let's see if he can do anything and take that sophomore step along with Caleb Williams. And then Luther Burden working in the slot. Great second-round selection for them. Colston Loveland, we talked about, is going to be the tight end 1, maybe 1A, while Cole Kmet is at 1B. Offensive line, we touched on this earlier. Braxton Jones and Darnell Wright are expected to be the 2 bookends. But then the additions of Jonah Jackson, Joe Thuney, and Drew Dahlman up in the middle. But yeah, projected defense. So let's start from the defensive line, then move up to the linebackers and then the secondary. So just for the sake of this graphic, I just wanted to put 11 people in. So I'm putting it as a 4-2-5, maybe a base 4-3, but I just wanted to highlight the corners just because they have some pretty good players in the secondary. But yeah, Odengbo comes from the Indianapolis Colts. He's going to be starting at the end. Grady Jarrett up in the middle, a defensive tackle, branching out to the linebackers, TJ Edwards, Tremaine Edmonds. I mean, there's not really any big changes except the two guys on the defensive line, Odengbo and Grady Jarrett. Secondary is great. Kyler Gordon's going to be working as a nickelback.
One guy that I would say look out for, and I'm excited to watch, is Javon Dexter. I think he's gonna tear it up this season. I really do.
I completely agree. Watching us draft him, I'm pretty sure it was in the second round and out of Florida. He has, I think now him being in that 3 technique spot, or him swapping with Grady being 1 or the 3, he gets a little bit more PT than he did last year, and we get to see a little bit more of a different beast.
Yeah, and you mentioned also when we're talking about draft pick, Shamar Turner, he could be a good rotational piece as well that's going to be mixing in there and causing havoc for that D-line for the Chicago Bears. So mixing in with Dennis Allen, who's, as a defensive coordinator, has actually been pretty decent for the Saints. And then also had a good season with the Denver Broncos way back in the day in 2011. He's a pretty good DC, defensive-minded coach, so this defense is expected to be very successful. And then moving on to the special teams, not really much to talk about. You still got Cairo Santos and Torrey Taylor. The only big change here is Devin Duvernay was a free agent addition from the Jaguars. He's expected to be the main guy returning the kicks. Projected stats that we have for the quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, and tight ends. With the quarterback, I'm making history here. I'm going to go ahead and speak it into existence that Caleb Williams will be the first 4,000-yard passer in Chicago Bears history. Are you guys feeling that?
It'd be amazing. I think he could pull it off. He's got everything.
I know he can pull it off.
Oh, there we go.
I know he can pull it.
Yeah, you don't think you know. He's going to do it with 4,200 yards passing is what I project. 29-8 is his touchdown to interception ratio, which is actually pretty freaking good. Now, looking at last year, 20 versus 6, I believe, was his touchdown.
Yep.
People might look at those numbers and see Caleb Williams. Okay, well, that's actually pretty good for a rookie. Yes, it is. But the reason why he got 6 interceptions is because he was holding on to the ball for a very, very long time. Now, with this new offensive line, he can do that. But I think he's starting to learn he's got to push the ball downfield. When he does that, yeah, the interceptions are going to increase. So we bumped it up from 6 to 8. Not that bad. But the touchdowns are going to come as well. So 29 touchdowns and has a plethora of receivers to throw to. So then let's talk about the running backs, plural, not just one. What we expect is DeAndre Swift being that main guy, getting just shy of 200 carries. While Roschon, I gave him the love over Monangai, but it could switch back and forth between 99 rushing attempts and 91 rushing attempts. I think recently Roschon was asked about his role. Roschon was just kind of like, yeah, I would like that role. Short yardage, didn't like brush it off, kind of like was very accepting of that, like that could happen. DeAndre Swift is working in on 2-minute situations during training camp, so he could be getting the bulk of the targets.
Yeah, I could see it either going either way for Johnson or Monangai.
We just wanted to go ahead and just say what we can tell you is that Monangai is going to have a role in this offense. Then moving on to wide receivers, DJ Moore, 120 plus targets as expected. Roma Dunze takes a big step up, 119 targets, 76 receptions, gets 1,000 yards receiving, so they're going to have 2,000 yard receivers. And then Luther Burden, 67 targets seems a little low for him, but maybe if it's a pass-heavy offense, which it could trend in that direction, maybe Luther Burden gets north of 80, 90 targets. However, it's just a lot to spread the ball around to, and if there is anyone that's going to dominate the targets, it would be DJ Moore, and then Roma Dunze, and then honestly, I would say the third guy might be Colston Loveland.
We do got a lot to throw to and many options. And at the end of the day, I could see Colston Loveland getting more targets than him.
Also, I will make a note about DJ Moore. On July 31st, DJ Moore was seen at practice taking handoffs with the running backs. So that's why I'm bumping up the numbers on the rushing attempts. 16 rushing attempts might get into the end zone. And then moving on to the 2 tight ends with Colston Loveland and Cole Kmet. The target share that I have is 83 versus 60. So we still feel that Cole Kmet, all of us agree that he's going to have a somewhat of a role. To wrap up the video, we did want to give you a record projection. So what I like to do is I don't just give one record and say that this is what's going to happen, and anything outside of that is incorrect. I like to give a window of a floor and a ceiling, somewhere between 7 to 12 wins is what I expect for the Chicago Bears. If we put up the graphic, 7-10 as their floor, no division win, no playoff appearance. What I expect is 9-8, but their ceiling, a playoff appearance with a division win if they were to go to 12-5, and that could be because they tie with maybe the Lions or the Packers or whoever's in that division at 12-5 and get the tiebreaker.
I mean, if everything hits the fan, I'd say probably our floor is like 6-11 or 7-10. Expected, I really hope they get 9 to 10 wins. I wanna watch some good ball, and because it's been a few rough years trying to watch them just win. I mean, they had so many devastating losses last year, just right in the end. So I mean, to see them win 9 or 10 games would be absolutely stellar. If they went 12-5 and went to the playoffs, I mean, the whole city, they might blow the whole city up at that point, because it would be like 2018 again, and you got a lot of people ready to watch them. So it would be amazing for that ceiling. But no, I think around 9-10 wins is what I really hope.
I mean, I totally agree. I would love to have 10 wins. That's a big dream, and possibly a playoff even a first round exit would make me happy, honestly.
Yeah, let's just not hope it's off of a double doink. So it's
Oh no.
Iroh Santos won't do that.
Guys, this was awesome. I appreciate you joining me.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. It was really cool.
Any last words?
Bear down, baby. Bear down.
Super Bowl 2027.
Oh yeah, you're gonna get it tattooed? Otherwise, it's not gonna happen.
I might.
Make sure you guys subscribe to this channel if you guys aren't already subscribed, so that we can notify you when we come out with more videos during this 32-team series. Tomorrow, the Indianapolis Colts. What can Shane Steichen do in his third year with Anthony Richardson or Daniel Jones, according to their unofficial depth chart? Oh, what a mess at that quarterback position. But we're going to talk about that and have a lot of fun with it. So if you guys agree or disagree with anything that we talk about in this video, make sure you guys leave a comment down below. Love to talk with you guys. Love to talk about football. With all that said, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you tomorrow.